Welcome everybody to the preview video for our music video for Ready Aim. I am Jared.
And I'm Vanessa.
And we want to introduce you to a couple other people who are also with us in this video. This is, I'm not going to point because our screens are different. So this is Haley. And this is Zach.
How's it going, everybody?
Haley is actually Zach and Haley both play on our worship team at Element Church. Haley is a bass player and guitarist, but she plays bass on the music video. Zach is a drummer, and he also plays the drummer on the music video. So this is going to be a little informal, but we kind of just wanted to give you guys, just for those of you guys who find this interesting, we were going to just do kind of a behind the scenes, a little bit of explaining like what went into this music video, because it's really intricate. If you have already watched it, you'll, or maybe come back and watch this after you've watched it. Or if this is exciting for you to build up anticipation, then you will see what we mean. So anyway, so we're going to kind of just dissect this thing a little bit and just talk about some of the things that we loved and things that we took away from this. So maybe we'll open it up with Haley if you're good with that.
Sure.
Haley also is a graphic designer for a company here in town, a real big company, and she does awesome work. So this is her, your debut? What do I call this? Your debut?
Directorial
Yes. Debut. Yes. So Haley had a huge part in this. So if you want to walk through that a little bit.
And something to note, Haley also did the artwork of our album,
That's true.
Ready Aim.
Yes.
That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you walk us through just kind of, you talked about it a little bit about like leading up to it and before, like the concept and all that might be kind of fun.
Yeah. Jared and Vanessa had an idea and a story behind this song. And when they were explaining it to me, I was like, we need to just start sketching out these ideas and get some storyboards laid out. And we just kind of went line by line through the song and imagined what kind of a scene we could see for each one. And Jared knew some amazing videographers, Craig and Thane Koger, and they were game to take this on. And I think when we pitched the storyboards, they were like, holy crap, this is ambitious. And so was I, to be honest. I was like pitching it to them and I was like, I think we can do this. I think we can. But then we did some location scouting, and we'll talk more about the location, but it's just a videographer's dream. Like so many textures and colors and stripped paint and wallpaper falling down. It's just really, really cool. And that got me even more jazzed. And then we did so much production planning up front and figured out exact amount of time we needed, because when you're shooting outside, you have only so much daylight, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
So we just dialed it into a T in the day of. It was just go, 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 but it was so fun. And being able to just kind of look over their shoulders at the screens at what we were capturing, it was really exciting for me as somebody who's worked on TV commercials and stuff to see that, even that little footage in its raw form. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. We can do this. The way that the footage was coming together, I was really, really stoked. And then we started putting in tricks and getting tricky with it. And then to the editing, I'm really, really proud of what we've come up with. And I'm really excited for people to see it.
And a side note from what you said with, so one of the guys who was the videographers was the only reason this kind of came to be is he was my physical therapist from all these knee surgeries. And somebody was like, hey man, like it's wintertime. You're not doing like any like weddings and stuff. You should do a music video. And he'd never done a music video. So he's like, well, let me talk to my brother and we'll just see. And then it was like, all right, let's do it. And so we're like, okay, like, can't believe we're doing this. So it really was just lined up like so quickly. And it was kind of like, maybe we will. And I remember texting Zach like, hey, you want to like do a music video? Like it might come together pretty quick. And so kind of crazy.
It's cool because our whole crew, aside from Zach, is all people who've never done music videos before.
Yeah.
So we were just like, let's just take this on and do it. And like I said, I'm pretty amped on how it turned out.
Yeah. And Zach, real quick, I was gonna say, Zach, I'll ask you like kind of pre stuff, like all your thoughts, any thoughts you have on that. But Zach is a very talented drummer at that, but he's a very seasoned drummer. He's been on tour with, you could name a bunch of them, like Red and Trapped and Alien Ant Farm, and you can name some other ones. So you got some cool stories. So Zach's been in a couple bands. I mean, it's the same band, but a couple bands with his brother. So we were super fortunate that he played with us, has so much expertise and so much like with equipment and stuff. It was so cool. Like it made things so much easier for us. Man, that helped out a ton. So Zach, what is your like anything like leading up to it?
Well, I guess leading up to it, when we did that meeting first for like the kind of, I guess, pre-production meeting or whatever, I actually was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't know if these people are going to be able to pull this off.
Me
really,
too.
just being honest. But but no, I for it being, pretty much everybody's first time doing a music video, Craig and Thane never doing anything like that ever before, just doing like weddings and doing like outdoor video and stuff like that, and it just turned out so well. I just remember leading up to it, and I was a little anxious, had a little bit of anxiety going into it and everything, just like, okay, is this all going to work out and everything? But on the day of the shoot and everything, I felt, I never felt like, I didn't even feel like anxiety on the day of the shoot, which on all the other music videos I've ever done, it's always usually been like very stressful and just like, oh man, you gotta get to this next scene, or do this and do that, and just a super stressful day. But I felt like it all just went so smooth and everything. And credit to you guys, credit to Craig and Thane, credit to just everybody who came out and helped and everything and made it great. But but no, it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, I was thinking of, so we'll kind of jump into maybe some of like the actual video. Well, but that's actually pre stuff. We didn't do your pre like leading up to it answer.
Oh, we can't disclose the location where we shot this because it's private property, and the fact that we got on to this property was a miracle in itself. But there's also a lot of dark history that goes along with this building, very real dark things that were going on in this building. So I wasn't anxious at all, honestly. Like when we got there, it's the same thing as what Zach said. It was just, in Ready Aim, we talk about coming for the darkness. And this building, I mean, the one that we shot the full band scene in, like when we went and scoped out this place, like the week before, it was so windy, it's so cold, it's Wyoming. And you walked into this building and it was just like, no sound.
That's true.
No sound in this building at all. And it just was this heaviness that was in this building. So, and then about 5 minutes later, everyone was like, this is it. This is where we're going to shoot the music video.
This is like, cool, the darkest building.
Yeah.
It's good, guys, good. But it turned out so much better than I anticipated. And we were just covered with so much prayer, too. We have so many amazing friends that who weren't even involved in this production, but they covered us in prayer, and they still are to this day, and we thank you guys so much. So anyway, I don't know if that answers.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of I forgot about the scouting day. I remember it was like, I was like so worked, or I was just too much in the moment that I'd heard that there was like satanic worship and stuff, and then you're like, I mean, like, that's kind of like, it seems a little bit much. And then you get there and you're like, haven't seen anything. And then there's like a couple of spots you're like, oh. And then so he's like, don't touch that bone. I was like, I didn't touch it. And then it was like, we should do it here. Like, yeah, let's go after the darkness. Then I remember coming home and it was like, I don't know what I just agreed to. Because it's like, I hope nobody's there when we come back. And then there's some things of like, man, maybe I was a little too like excited. And then like, I really should have prayed through this more rather than like being reactionary, but like, so then like refocused and prayed before we got there and really like focused in. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any like thoughts of like the scouting trip.
I have a tendency to get excited about things very easily. So I was very excited, and I'm very into exploring old ruins and stuff. And so I was kind of in the same boat as you, Jared, where I was just like so jazzed on everything that I'm seeing from a video perspective. So it was good to have Vanessa there to be kind of doing that spiritual check for us, because I was getting too jazzed to like not remember that the whole time. But I remember as we left, I felt that somberness hit me, that, okay, that was fun, but this is serious, and we need to be definitely praying ahead of everything that we're doing so that God goes before us. And he definitely did, from beginning to end. Everything lined up, from the location to our actors to the literally getting our last shot as the sun was going past the horizon. Like, God went before us on every aspect of this. And it's because we were diligent in that prayer for that.
Mm-hmm. I also remember as we were scoping out this place, I was like, we need some release of liability forms for this place, because there's tetanus all over this place.
Yeah.
My mind have Nurse Vanessa there too for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm like, let's climb down that rusty ladder.
Yeah, I do. I remember that. I was like, hey, where's Haley? And then it was like, I was like,
and then I was up there and I was like, what have I done?
Yeah. I'm like, is that a safe ladder? How old is that ladder?
Oh, or no.
I went up like halfway and then I was like, and I shook it. And I was like, oh, we're good.
You shook it as you were on it.
Oh, man.
I also remember in the building where we filmed the band scene, as we're like walking around this really dark, ominous place, I hear you and Zach go, oh, there's stairs down into the basement, let's go. Which was like the most evil section of that.
Yeah, I know. You guys are ready for it.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just take our time. You're like, come on down, it's pretty cool.
Zach, put that bone down.
Yeah, I do remember walking down. I remember walking downstairs, and you guys are like, "Come on down." And then I hesitate, or I off to the corner, and there was that, I don't know, cloth that was hanging on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Cloth, and it was moving because the wind blew it, and startled me, because in the darkness where it's
yeah,
satanic stuff, and anyway, it was scary, but
yeah, it was.
Okay. So I want to talk more about what hopefully you guys get out of this video, that it's more than just a music video. This is more than just us doing something cool, that hopefully when you watch the video, you notice that there's more to this than just a performance. Like, we really focused less on the performance side of this and more on the story, because there's a really meaningful story to this, I think, for all of us and all of our characters and everything that it meant. So I feel like for me, I will say, something I noticed as far as when we were saying, so the song talks about coming after darkness, and when you choose to pick a battle with evil, it's you should expect warfare back at you. And I think we don't completely understand that. So where we went, I remember thinking so many times, are we crazy for doing this? I remember the couple days leading up, it was maybe this isn't a good idea where we're going. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. And but then it was no, somebody had mentioned the story of Gideon, and he says, don't be afraid, mighty warrior. And Gideon was like, I'm afraid. And he's like, don't be afraid, mighty warrior. And I remember that stuck with me of it's okay to be scared. That's probably healthy. But it was don't be afraid, mighty warrior. And so you're like, okay, I don't feel like a mighty warrior at all. But what we're about to go do is crazy to me. So I remember after we got done filming, and it went great on the first weekend. And I remember after it was oh man, I felt awful. I felt so much spiritual oppression. I felt evil was cloaked around me, and I couldn't shake it. I remember texting Vanessa, and I was like, I just don't feel right today, and I'm angry this morning, and I can't figure out why, and there's no reason that I'm angry. And I remember I was at work at church, and I was still just oh my gosh, I can't shake this. And it was always I'm not trying to over spiritualize it, but I don't feel right. And there's nothing really I can pinpoint other than, and I remember having to say Satan, if you are here, you have to leave in the name of Jesus. And I remember I was by myself, and I said it out loud, because I was I don't know what else to do, because I am so tired of feeling like this. And I remember I was ugh, and I got this shiver, and then it was oh good. And it was well, that was weird. And it was like, man, I don't usually do that. That's not really my personality to do that. But I remember I was like, man, and that was like at war, like he was just, I just felt like he couldn't do anything about it, but he was going after every wound that we had. You know, he knows every single wound that hurts, and he just kept just driving a dagger in that. So for me, I was like, man, we got to remember like what we did it comes with a cost to some degree. Like as an American, we're like, I'm just going to run my mouth and it's fine. But in spiritual warfare, you want to engage the enemy, man, like that. You better expect to feel not right, and you better expect that past come up and old wounds or current wounds are going to be exposed, and like having to deal with that is tough. That is really hard, and I think it's really underrated. But it's also what we did was also like what I like as a Christian. I feel like Christians are always like, yeah, we're going to go off to war and take down Satan. But it's like, well, are you going into the darkness? Like, because once you're in the darkness, you're like, holy crap, like there's a weight here that like I can't explain and can't see it. So it's always really different. Anyway, so I don't know for you guys, like, I just hope you guys get out of this that darkness is a real, very powerful thing, and we respect it, which sounds weird to say because I respect darkness. I don't like it, but I respect its power. Like, I understand that it's a force that is powerful, more powerful than I am. And, but we have Jesus on our side. So like more powerful than darkness. So I'm going to go as a frightened warrior who's not strong on behalf of, you know, Jesus, who can make me strong. So I hope that you guys see that in this video, that like the darkness, so like what darkness is taken from you or is taken from you, taking from you right now, like that, to stop. Like, you don't have to live like this. So that would be one of my takeaways. I don't know for you guys.
So kind of a crazy thing with it just leading up into the release of the video here. Just a few days ago, actually, I had a dream. And I remember after we had filmed the music video, like literally the next day or a couple of days after, all of us were kind of having these like super weird, dark dreams and everything. And I had another one just a couple nights ago, and it was like an abandoned building, super vivid. I mean, it felt like literally there, in all these dark hallways and dark rooms and everything. And I remember there just being this really dark presence in this dream. And but for some reason, I was just going through this dream and just walking through all these places and just thinking, like, I knew there was an evil there, and I knew I had like spiritual warfare or something, but I just kept saying in the dream, be the light in the darkness, be the light in the darkness. And just like going through all these rooms, and kind of funny, I guess my dog had like run and gotten lost or something. So I was like looking for him, but but it was like super vivid and just kind of a creepy dream, you know. And I don't ever have nightmares or anything like that, so it's kind of weird leading up to this video release that this happened. But I just remember saying in the dream, the only thing I can really remember is, as you know, stuff being said in the dream was just be the light in the darkness. And I just feel like what we did with this video and going into a dark place and doing this video and everything there was, we were bringing light into a darkness. And you know, that's just something to kind of just live by and go through life, you know, with what's going on in the world today. There's a ton of darkness. Everything is just, I mean, I can't say everything's bad, but it's just kind of a dark time, you know. And we can be the light in the darkness. Hopefully this video can be somewhat light in this dark time, you know, and help people in any way that it can. But that's hopefully you can take from this video as well.
Yeah, I think the filming and the timing of this is not coincidental. And I remember like the day of the shoot and like leading up to it, like we were consistently praying for God to go before us. And then afterwards, you kind of breathe that sigh of relief and let your guard down for a second. And then you best believe the enemy is going to jump right in as soon as you do. And he did it to all of us. And it was like, you know, a couple months ago, and then we start releasing these teasers thinking we're like kind of past it. And all of a sudden I'm hit with just this irrational irritability to like everything. Like, we're quarantined, I'm sitting and working at home, and I'm by myself. I'm just like, why am I so mad at nothing right now? And then I was like, oh, we released a teaser. We're getting closer to when that's happening. Like, it would make sense that the enemy would poke at us for every little thing. But the best part is, like, he's already lost. And it doesn't matter, like, what he's going to throw at us. Like, this video is still releasing tomorrow, and like it's still gonna have victory over him. And I think that's the whole theme of the song. Like, you know, we're coming for you, darkness. We're running towards the monster, ready, aim. Like, those are some tough words, and I've honestly never heard lyrics like that before. So props to you guys for writing that. But I think this is a song that's approaching a realm in Christian rock music that hasn't been really approached yet in the way that it has. So I'm super excited about that and bringing that perspective, because I think it's really strengthening. Like God gives us all of the armor, spiritual armor, to block the arrows of the enemy. But this song's picking them back up and shooting them back at him. And I think that's super cool and like really bold. And I think this is such a time where we need super bold faith like that.
What I appreciate about the concept of the video is that I'm hoping that it doesn't just fire up believers, but it also fires up non-believers too, because I really feel like this darkness that we're addressing, everyone has a different darkness, and everyone has had something taken from them in their lives, some more so than others. And so I think people will be able to relate to certain parts of the video. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a scene in the video where we are all at a standstill and we're looking at this monster before us and what it's taken from us, and we're kind of paralyzed in a way. We're just kind of, if you want to use the word scared, we can say we were scared. And even going into making this video, we were a little scared, and that's okay, because who was it that said, I think it was Franklin Roosevelt, I could be wrong, who officially coined the term, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the ability to assess that something else is more important than the fear. And I feel like, even though that's not biblical, but it is in a way, because even having fear is okay, but knowing that we have the power of God behind us, and so we can still act through that fear, because we know that there's something more important on the other side. And that's why we feel it's so important to kind of take on this darkness. It's something that you have to be prepared for, though, because you can't just, like Jared said, you can't just shout that out and say, I'm going to take on this darkness, and because whatever it may be, whether it's addiction or depression, everyone has something that they're struggling with at one point or another in their lives. So that's why we point to Jesus and say, this is why we're able to face our fears over and over and over again, because it's not just a one-time thing. It's not as dramatic as a music video. It's a daily process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and even leading up to, as of this week, like it's funny. It's like we hadn't even talked to Zach about what he just said about his dreams and stuff like that. But like we've had just that same feeling after we got done filming has returned this week, and it was like fine when I was editing it and putting it all together. But like, and then once I remember the very day, it was like something feels weird today. And then I remember like Haley, I asked her, like, are you feeling all right? Because we're like, something just doesn't feel right. And she was like, actually, no, I haven't been okay today. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just something's different. And ever since then, and like even down to our son, it was just like, he's acting different. He hasn't felt well, but it's just, we're more irritable. Like, it was like our family was under attack, but you don't think about that until it's happened long enough that you're like, why is this happening? Oh, and it was like, oh my goodness, of course. Like what Haley was saying, like I let my guard down. And even when I had my guard up, I was still just like, I feel like I'm losing. And like, and I remember it's just like, it's okay. Like some days darkness is going to win, and he's powerful. So, but it doesn't mean that he won completely. He won that day maybe, and maybe it was my fault, maybe whatever. But the next day I will get up and I will do like what I'm supposed to do. because he cannot stop me. Like he cannot stop, like you're saying, cannot stop this music video from coming out.
Mm-hmm.
He can wound me all the way up until it, and probably after it's released. So I also need to be remembering that, like after it's released, he will still come after me. So
We've learned.
but like, but it's okay. Like I'll get back up. Like some days it won't always be a victory the way I hoping it. But like sometimes war is like you take a step back because the enemy is strong. But then you just advance and you advance and you advance, and like it's like Vanessa was saying, like it's not this high that you just we won, and like he never came back. Satan's really good at his job. So
that part in the middle of our video, which you'll know it when you see it, but like it perfectly illustrates that. Like we're getting ready for that final charge, and the enemy's going to throw everything he has at us right before we decide to make that decision to try to make us stop. And there's a moment where us as characters or whatever, like we could retreat, but we decide not to. And it's just super powerful and cool.
Yeah.
And the cool thing too is that we're not alone in this charge. It's not really about us. We're not the heroes of the story necessarily, because we have a whole, I don't know if I'd say army, more of a posse.
A horde.
Yes.
An angry horde of people.
Yes.
There you go.
But my point is, we're not alone in this. Everyone in that crowd was looking at the same thing. And we were all charging towards the same thing for one common purpose. And it was, figuratively and literally, I was telling these guys a dream come true, charging the hill with my best friends and church family. Loved it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Super cool. Yeah. We hope that this is, I don't know, I feel like there's not a music video for a while that's ever been like this, and that's not to be like we're amazing, but just like to be able to talk about like this like specific story. I think like this is what I'm more getting at, like the specific story, a specific, like I think everybody can take from it what they want, and it's still the same theme. It just looks personalized, and we just tried to personalize it as our characters try to take on. So like the thing that we are struggling with in the video is not it there's some truth to it, but you could assume it's something else, that our story is something else. And like Bo and Corinne's story, you actually don't know their story, and that's sort of on purpose because it can be left up to interpretation, because darkness looks different to everybody. We don't know everybody's story. We don't know what darkness is taken from everybody. So it's just really interesting, but that's what I love about it. It's vague enough, but it's specific to everybody, that you can pick what you want it to be and then choose to fight or not fight. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left on this Zoom call meeting. I've just been informed by Zoom. Thanks a lot, Jerk. But so let's cover just some real quickly. We'll cover some things like what was I gonna say? What favorite parts in the video for all of you guys? Anybody? Somebody needs to talk.
About that, I don't know.
Haley, what about you? You have what favorite shot? Doesn't have to be the favorite, but your favorite one.
Well, if I go for like favorite shot, from the director perspective, it's my new title. It's definitely, I love that we have a cool slider shot of our main actor Bo, and we're going across, and he knocks the bottle off and gets up, and as we go past the dark and then into a window, he's back in position and the bottle's back in position, and that's just like super Hollywood. So I was super into that and how that turned out. It's just really slick. But my favorite stuff to film was the band stuff. Playing music live's like my favorite thing in the world. So doing that over and over with you guys, which is super fun, was just like super energizing. And maybe like take 6 wasn't as fun because I was in a t-shirt and it was like 20 degrees. But man, it was a blast. I didn't feel cold most of the time because I was so excited.
Cool. What's you, Zach?
I'd probably have to say the band shots. I mean, it might be a little cliche to say, but they turned out really great, and it was really fun shooting them and everything. But also the group shots when we were the army shots, stuff like that. Those were really cool and really fun to do. But
I think one of the shots I like really well that like as far as in the video, just how it looks is your shot, or you and Vanessa, like that one. I just found it, like it wasn't. I think we were in between, like getting ready to record, and I think that shot that I got of you, you're kind of swaying. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't even think that was. I'm not sure that was actually like we were getting ready to we're getting set, I think. And then when I like slowed it down, I was like, oh, that's a cool shot. Like, so that was cool that like, I don't think that was timed. There was a couple of those in there where we were just waiting around and they were just filming.
Yeah.
And then those actually were like really good shots. So I really liked that shot because it fit perfect for the timeline. I'm trying to not give it too much away at this point, but like, just like it fit the moment so well. And like your character, and then you had Vanessa, and then when you see it, Vanessa does this really slow eye close and like opens it up, and it's just like, it's perfect. Like it was just worked out so perfect. Like it was just so cool. It was just so like clear. I like that shot a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I don't know, what's some of your favorite shots?
Well, obviously I love the band scenes, but I also remember like while we were actually performing this song in this building while we're being filmed, I remember thinking like, I need to actually like proclaim these words. I'm not just performing. I'm not just acting. Talking about this is the end of your reign, and the most dark place I've ever been in was extremely powerful for me. I'm not even saying that of my own volition. I'm just saying like we brought the light into such a dark place, I think. And so getting to do that was really awesome. But if I'm honest, the scenes of all of us charging the hill together, that's got to be my favorite.
Yeah.
How often do you get to do that? So.
No, I know. I think I texted you a screenshot and was like, this makes me feel the feelings, because we know every single person in that shot. It's all of our friends and these people who volunteered to be in this video, and not even just be in the video, but like haul equipment and help us pray and plan and do makeup and hair. Like all of those people are in the background behind us as well.
Like up at 4 a.m. doing makeup for us and staying like 12 hours with us.
Yeah.
Because they believed in this. You're like, oh my goodness. Like, I think we were apologizing like over and over. I'm so sorry. But they're like, this is cool. So
and the freezing cold too. Like no one was paid for this. They just wanted to be a part of something. And we're just so grateful for anyone who's watching that was part of the video. Thank you so much. We really can't thank you enough. But we hope that the video will inspire you and encourage you, especially during these crazy, weird times right now.
Definitely.
We're also talking about the timing of how this video worked out. We literally finished this video end of January. And right after is when we found out what coronavirus is, and like we couldn't even meet in groups of 10 or more. And so for those of you seeing that we are not social distancing, that was before the rules came out.
Yeah, we were lucky. We were like, why are we doing this in January? And then as you look at it, you're like, there's no way. Even if we postpone it, this wouldn't have happened.
Nope.
And I mean, even like seeing our breath even adds to it. Like it makes it so much better. Like, I don't know. Like I think one of my favorite scenes, I was telling Vanessa this, it's not even because it's the best shot scene, like as far as like the quality and all that, but it's there's a scene where the army's running and it's like it's not in slow-mo, it's fast. And I'm like, ooh, like that part just gets me for some reason. It's like, it's just so cool. Like, I don't know. And then you see like slow-mo stuff, but it's just like, when everybody sees it, it's just kind of that like, yes, like, let's kill something evil. Let's kill something evil. There we go.
Let's kill something
evil. We have 3.5 minutes left here before it's going to cut us off. But what is like anything else you guys want to add, or any favorite shots or like moments or whatever?
There is a part in the video, and I don't want to give anything away, so I'm just going to say that every time that I watch the video, it gives me chills. And it does come in like the middle of the video, so be ready for every single time.
Really vague.
No, I'm
in the middle.
After this, we'll talk.
Yeah, you'll tell us after.
The music cuts out. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right.
Oh. Okay. I know where you're talking.
Is it one of your scenes, Zach?
It is not one of my scenes, no.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, now I'm even curious. Yeah, Haley, what about you? Anything else?
I just keep thinking of like the funny stuff that happened, like lugging in Zach's RV, and it was just like, what are we doing? This thing's gonna tip over. Or when we were playing with smoke and strobe lights to see what it would look like, and Zach and I are crawling around in horse poop, just trying to like make it look good, while we're just coughing smoke and crying.
And Craig and Thane getting cancer, like with
Yeah.
I never remember that. They're like, and I was like, what's the matter? Like, I can't. And Zach's still in there. He's like, I kind of have a little like scratchy.
Yeah, they were so affected, and I was like, "Come on, guys, it's not that bad." And then I was outside.
Oh, it was bad.
In horse poop, and I was like, "This is awful."
Yeah, when we did the other scene with me with the smoke bomb, and I had to do that over and over, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I was coughing so bad, I could see why it's bad. Oh,
but
man,
it looked cool.
We have less than a minute, it tells me, so we're gonna just have to wrap this up. So,
for those of you watching, thank you so much. Share this with your friends. And we hope that it encourages you, and we love you all.
Yes. Thanks, Zoom, for making us have to stop. So we will hopefully you guys love it and enjoy the video, and leave us a comment. Let us know. Share it everywhere. Talk to you later, guys.
And make sure you jump on that live chat on YouTube. We'll be there.
Please be there. Live chat.
Chat with you.
Thank you.
Noon o'clock.